Since the god-awful thing that was the Flash movie, everyone can agree that Detective Comics, at least on the live-action side, has kind of been in shambles. The Flash movie was a heaping pile of garbage, and at the end of it, it concluded the DCEU with a joke. Many people, including myself, who are die-hard fans of the DCEU and of The Flash, were very disappointed with this. In addition to this, many of the CW shows that are fan favorites like The Flash have come to an end and been replaced by shows that are decently good, but not as good, such as Superman and Lois. Now, notice I said not as good, because I still think that Superman and Lois is pretty good, but I would argue that no show that the CW can produce in a superhero context is going to live up to what the early seasons of The Flash and Arrow were. That is a legacy that just cannot be competed with. Now, still guys, though I love them both a lot, I am definitely more of a DC fanboy than a Marvel fanboy. I absolutely love Batman, Arrow, Flash, the concepts of the superheroes in DC, the fact that it's in a world that has like its own cities and it's not just taking place in our natural world. It turns less realistic, but it's always been something that I favor more than the Marvel comics. Not that one is worse than the other, I've just always been drawn more to DC and like Batman. So as the diehard DC fan that I am, it makes me really sad to see all the live action stuff they've produced and how it really hasn't been per se super good. I think the best live action thing that has come of DC was the Gotham series that lasted for about 5 seasons. That was basically like a prequel to Batman. They tried to make it the story of Jim Gordon before he was police commissioner, but that didn't pan out, and it really did just end up being kind of a prequel to Batman. And the ending was, I'm a little bittersweet about the ending of it, but it really was a good series, and it's my favorite live-action DC series that probably has ever been produced. One thing that definitely cannot be denied is when it comes to live action, Marvel is way better at universe building. Not that DC is extremely bad at it, I just think that in terms of just the core of what universe building should be, that Marvel does a much better job, and the MCU is highly anticipated and it's really loved by fans, and I don't really see the same kind of love for the DCEU or even the CW universe, the CW superhero universe. Even though it's the better of the two between the DCEU and the CW superhero universe, or the Arrowverse is what it's called, definitely don't see the same kind of love as you would see for the MCU, which is highly anticipated, and every time a new movie comes out, people go and they watch it just so they're filled in on the lore of the MCU, even if the movie ends up being absolute garbage. With that being said, there might be hope for live-action DC content yet. That's because a few days ago, James Gunn released the first look, a teaser trailer, at his new Superman movie that's going to be coming out in 2025. And this movie will be the start of the new DC Cinematic Universe. What it's going to be called yet, we have no idea, but what we do know about it is absolutely amazing, and I'm super excited for it to come out and for us to see all of this. It looks like it's actually being taken care of, and people are working really hard to get it out. It looks like it's going to be actually pretty good, and not the absolute trash that was the DCEU. So today I wanted to just go over some things that I saw in the trailer that I think are going to be notable or that we'll want to look out for as the date to the movie releasing in theaters gets closer, and things that could be Easter eggs for setting up the entirety of the DC universe, the new DC Cinematic Universe. One thing that I want to talk about right away that I'm so excited for is the fact that we know that Krypto the Superdog is going to be in this movie. We haven't seen Krypto in the comics for years. I don't remember the exact date that the last time he was in the comics was, but I think it was in the 50s or 60s. But maybe 1955, something like that. But the fact that he's in this movie for the first time 70 years later, we're finally getting him in live action, is absolutely amazing, and I'm really glad that they decided to incorporate this into the movie. I remember when I was growing up watching the Krypto the Superdog animated series on television, and I just thought that as someone who's had pets my whole life, I thought that the concept of Superman having a dog who was also a superhero was a really humanizing and awesome aspect, and I'm really glad that they're choosing to include that in this new DC universe. It really, it gives me hope for what else they're going to do, what else they're going to incorporate from the comics. Are they going to bring back storylines that we haven't seen for a long time? I don't know, but I'm really excited, and the fact that Crypto's in here really gives me hope. One thing I gotta say about the cinematics of the trailer too is that it really felt comic booky. I know that's a weird way to describe it, but let me give you an example. In terms of The Walking Dead, the very first episode, I felt like I was in the very first issue of The Walking Dead. Having read that, and then also having watched the show, it really felt like an amazing comic book adaptation. And as I'm seeing frames from the new trailer, I'm seeing comic book panels as well. Like, I really feel like it looks like it's going to be an amazing adaptation as far as adaptations go. I also have to say that the trailer did a really good job of hiding who the real villain is supposed to be. I feel like I really don't know. They hinted at it being Lex Luthor, but I feel like it's going to be one of those things where they hint at it being a certain villain, and then we're extremely shocked by the fact that it's another villain. Their design for Lex Luthor also got a lot of criticism, but I really don't feel like it's that bad, and I feel like we've definitely had worse designs for Lex Luthor in live action. I also feel like even though it was only a teaser trailer, we got some really awesome cues and clues as to the world building that they're going to do. For example, Guy Gardner is featured in this trailer as one of the Green Lanterns, and I think that's pretty awesome. In the background of that same scene, you can see Stagg Industries, and Simon Stagg was a very prominent figure, not only in the DC Comics, but if you've played the Arkham games, he plays a very important role in the last game, Arkham Knight. We also get to see Hawkgirl, which I think is a really awesome addition, and it's more of that universe building that they're going to bring in. Now, whether or not some of the big name superheroes like from the Justice League will be featured in this movie, I don't know. It looks like they're only featuring, or at least only teasing, these smaller, not lesser loved, but lesser known heroes, maybe to cue us in that they're going to be featuring some of those bigger heroes. But I think that the version of Superman that we're going to get in this movie is not going to be an origin story. I don't believe this is going to be an origin story movie, just by the way that the trailer is set up and things of that nature. I feel like this is more going to be, we're going to see Superman in his first, maybe second year being Superman, and we're going to see him meet the Justice League and things like that, similar to how they structured the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, where it's not a Batman origin story. It's we're just seeing him for the first time, but he's been Batman for about a year, and he's going out and he has this amazing journey, and we get to see that as the movie, but he's somewhat seasoned as Batman. Now, what this means for a possible arc in the movie, I have no idea. Maybe the arc will be, I'm Superman, I work alone, and then he meets the Justice League, and so that will lead into then more origin story movies, like a Batman movie, a Wonder Woman movie, a Flash movie, and then we'll get a conclusive Justice League of America movie or something along the lines of that, which I would be really excited to see, because the Justice League movies that we did get from the DCEU, not that they were bad, but they were misplaced, I feel like. A part of me also does hope that they start this world building, but they don't make anything definitive quite yet. And the reason for that is because the way that the MCU is structured there is where they had the Iron Man movies come out, and then the Captain America movie come out, and all that stuff, and it was very separate from they were very separate from one another. I feel like if they do that, and then they do the whole everyone comes together and we have a group movie, I feel like that is the way that they should definitely go about it. I think one of the problems with the DCEU was the fact that the second Superman movie, Batman v Superman, kind of acted as the first Justice League movie just because of all the features it had from other heroes. So I'm really hoping that they don't try and do something like that again. James Gunn is a very talented director, and I definitely think that the universe is going to thrive in his hands. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are some of my favorite movies in the MCU. I think they have some of the best soundtracks of any of the movies in the MCU, and so I'm just really excited to see the direction that James Gunn takes this universe. What do you guys think? Are you excited for this new universe? Are you excited for the new Superman movie? What did you think of the trailer? Are you excited to see a possible Justice League movie in the future? Let me know down in the comments below. If you want to see me play games live or in videos, subscribe to my second channel and follow my Twitch. Both will be linked in the description below. Check out my gaming organization, the Mute Clan, also linked in the description below. And go ahead and buy some of our new holiday merch at teespring.com/stores/scoopier. But as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.